now?
Leave that.
All I know is this violates every canon of respectable broadcasting.
How are you?
Hey, who wants to help me get this recorder out of here? I need some muscle over here.
You are listening to Blame Your Brother.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back. We are back once again after being off last week. I know you missed us, but we are back once again. Episode 281. So many topics to talk about tonight. Of course, we missed last week. We just took the week off. Good chance to recharge the batteries. And so, you know, summertime is approaching and we've got extra weeks in the month, so why not? But we're back streaming live Thursday nights, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Come hang out if you want to do that. Go subscribe to that YouTube channel, youtube.com/blameyourbrother. But if you missed that, come hang out with us in the podcast world. Podcast platforms everywhere on Friday mornings. You can put those earbuds in and hang out with us in the audio form. Who is Blame Your Brother? Well, there's two of us that make us up. I am one half of the duo. I am David, a.k.a. D-Brew, Glenn Jackson, voice of the people, Mr. 40%, the spiritual midget, and Mr. Wonderful. And this gentleman sitting over to my left, it is John.
Everybody, John here, a.k.a. Tico, a.k.a. Mr. Groupon, Mr. PTI, the Madman.
They got John Tortorella, a madman.
They do have madman.
Okay, he's a madman.
All right. It's David, John, yes. We have, so to tease, you know, in just case anyone's listening, we're going to talk about, I got my DNA test results, and we're going to jump into that, and it's going to be a real-time reveal. John doesn't know what the results say. We're going to talk about The Boys, Season 3. Ooh, it's going to be interesting. Obi-Wan Kenobi, the new Disney Star Wars series, and Mount Rushmore of movies set in the Middle Ages. And we'll get to that when we get there. But but that was inspired by, I went to the Renaissance Festival. I guess we can just start off there.
I went the week before.
Yeah, so we both went, and so we'll line that up. But I do want to give a big thanks to the last episode. Leslie Streeter was the guest. John, you liked her a lot.
I was very impressed. Would love to have her on again. She was great.
She was. She's a pop culture aficionado. She's written a book called Black Widow. I highly suggest you go read it. It's a great read. You know, I don't read a lot of books every year, but this was one of those that made my cut. So I would highly recommend it. And that episode was a lot of fun. We did the Mount Rushmore of Counting Crows song. So it was a good time. And that's it. So thank you, Leslie, so much for hanging out. Okay. Renaissance Festival in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, Nashville adjacent. All right, John, we did not talk about this. I should have asked you before because I've never in my life peed in a bottle while in traffic. Well, I did on the way to the Renaissance Festival. I did not know I would be in traffic for over 2 hours.
Wow.
Waiting to get to the event.
Was it like just on the streets or were you stuck on 840 as well?
No, it was once you got off the highway. It was backed up. It's one lane. It was very poorly. I don't know what was happening. Anyway.
The shortest route they had blocked off.
Yes, of course, because that's where. So if you didn't know, there's two ways to get there. So the one way, which is where your GPS tells you to go, well, you get there and it's like, nope, you can't go that way. But I did notice that people were going that way, and here's why. When you're stuck in traffic like that, you start to see everyone that passes you by. And these people were dressed up, elf ears, everything, and they were very peculiar looking. So everyone was going to this spot, and they had to turn around and sit in this long line. And I saw those people. I pull up, and I see those people get out, and I go, wait a minute. Those people should not be here. So anyway, the point is the traffic was terrible. That being said, so the traffic was not that bad for you?
It was pretty bad.
Okay. What do you think? I've been to a great Renaissance Festival in Colorado. I mean, it was majestic. What do you think of the one here in Murfreesboro? What were your thoughts on it?
This is the thing. This is the only one I've been there year after year.
Okay.
I do enjoy myself for the most part. But so I don't really have a frame of reference. But my wife tells me that the one in Georgia is like off the chain, way bigger.
Right.
This one seems like the big idea is for people to sell stuff.
Yeah, you think?
That's it.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
So
Now you do have a jousting tournament, and it's
Which is, I mean, it's all right. It's fun. I mean, I make sure to go check those out. It's fun. I'm very impressed by those guys able to ride those horses, do all those things on the horses, joust each other. It's pretty amazing, truthfully. I mean, if you really just think about it, it's pretty wild. But minus that, man, they're really not a lot.
entertainment. It is lackluster.
I mean, there's a band set up at some certain point. There's comedy shows, which are, I mean, it's all right. But I think for what we paid, and I hate to say this, but I don't think it's worth it. I just think the long line to get there, the long line to get tickets, then it's cash only pretty much. So then you have to get another line, if you don't know that, to get ATM money withdrawals. Everything's overpriced. We ended up buying a bunch of crap we didn't need. Well, I bought a hacky sack, so that was pretty cool. I haven't had a hacky sack since high school, but me and my son did a little hacky sack, and that was fun. So I generally love the idea of the Renaissance Festival, and the one I went to in Colorado was amazing. It was like you were in a town that was transported back to the Middle Ages. This is more like here you're in a field and people are selling stuff. And did you buy anything like major?
I did buy one big thing.
Okay, what was this?
I mean, speaking of ancestry.
Okay.
From the looks of me, I'm Italian, but it doesn't look that way.
Right.
But I'm also, on my mom's side, I'm Scot-Irish. And so, doing the family history that I have done, I do know that I have Kennedy blood, and that comes from a clan called the DeGarrick clan.
Okay.
This is stuff I knew years ago.
All right, that's interesting.
And so I was like, you know what? Let's get a kilt. So I bought a kilt.
What?
Yeah.
John, what? Did you wear it?
No.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Are you ever going to wear it?
I don't. I mean, eventually, I'll wear it for something, but I don't know what for. I don't know.
Like the Halloween or something?
Maybe something.
All right.
Maybe next year.
How much does a kilt go for?
100.
Oh, wow, bro. That's expensive. I mean, I don't know how much kilts are, but I just don't understand people buy those swords and they carry them around the entire day. I'm just like, what? That's so bizarre. I just think, I don't know. I'm going to say this and probably upset some people, but people who collect swords, I don't know about them. Now, do you collect swords?
I've got, I wouldn't say I'm a collector of swords. If I see one that's cheap,
you know what I'm talking
really
about
like
when I say collector.
I know what you mean.
Yes, you know what I'm talking. Yeah, no, I'm talking multiple swords hanging up on walls, displayed on walls, things like that.
No, we've got like a few. I believe my wife has a couple of samurai swords, and then she's got one. It's a broadsword, but it's not that long.
So it's not a real broadsword.
No.
Okay.
A real broadsword. I mean, it's
like what, 6 feet
like
long?
6 foot. Yeah. This one's probably about 4.5 feet long.
Oh,
but
still.
it's got a wide blade.
Okay.
So.
Well, Firestorm says I collect knives. There you go. Okay. Well, everyone collects something, I guess.
I mean, I've got a couple of daggers.
Look, I'm not gonna knock you. Everyone collects. Swords. I don't know. It's a little suspect, but anyway. So I don't know. I can't really tell people to go. Like, I guess if you've never gone, if you've never been to one, the people watching is well worth it, I would say.
That's my favorite part about going. That's why I go year after year, is to see, and I'll dress up a little bit.
There's two kinds of people, John. There's people that dress up, John, and there's people that would never dress up like me. Me and my wife were like, there's no way we would ever. Even if my kids are not dress up people either, but I just, there's no way. I just cannot imagine a scenario. People always ask me, they go, David, did you used to LARP? And I'm like, and people don't know what LARP is. It's live action role playing. It was, you would get these swords that are made out of foam and PVC.
Yeah.
And I'm like, look, I had a couple of friends that did it, but I mean, did I ever do it to the extent I went to events? No, I didn't do that.
We played with the swords.
We just played with the swords. Yeah, right. I mean, you got two. But
we're wearing jeans and t-shirts.
Yes, you got two teenage boys with fake swords. Of course, you're going to fight each other with them. But the commitment to these people would get dressed up in like outfits and go into a big field and fight each other. Just not my thing, man.
One of them, he had like chainmail.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
they're hardcore. They're serious. So no, I've never done that. But hey, to each his own, man. So anyways, so that was a Renaissance Festival. I mean, would you suggest people go? If someone came to you and said, "Should I go?" What would you say?
I said, are you into cosplay, or do you like watching people in cosplay? If you answer yes to either of those, then yeah, you should go.
All right. Daniel's in the chat says, I remember playing with those swords in John's basement. When I first met my wife, like first time meeting her, I had a Warhammer for some reason. I have no idea why I had this. I think I just took it, or I have no idea why. It was a Warhammer PVC of foam, and my wife's like, what is that? And I was like, oh, God, this is totally embarrassing. But so now my wife thinks it's like I was a LARPer. I was like, I was not a LARPer. I never really LARPed, okay? So anyway. All right, let's move on past that. Let's get to the DNA test. All right, John. So John got his MyHeritage DNA. We found out the man's African. He's Jewish. Whatever else.
Italian,
yeah.
Scandinavian.
All right, so here we go. So what do you think? I'm trying to get all these to pop up. Okay, I got the full estimates here, so I'll show you as I go along. So you said you think the majority of me is
English.
English would be correct. It's 63%. All right.
I believe there's a little bit of Jewish in there.
Yes, I am Ashkenazi. How do you say it?
Yeah, that one.
Okay.
Which means
Ashkenazi Jew.
Which means that there would be a little bit of Scandinavian in there too.
So we technically can say we're part Jewish. This, according to this, right?
Almost anybody who is basically white
Is part Jewish?
That came from Western Europe is part Jewish.
Oh, okay.
Now there's a separate sect of Jew, like say you were from Spain.
Right.
It'd be something else Jewish.
Okay.
But it wouldn't be the Askenat, whatever it's called.
Yeah, I mean, so we're Jewish. I mean, I could walk around rocking the Star of David, and that would not be against it. I mean, I'm not cultural appropriation. I'm part Jewish according to this thing.
You
right?
are.
I'm just wondering if that's what's okay. I got 29.9% North and West European. It says the population of North and Western European includes German, French, and Dutch people. So I don't know. This is a lot different. The other one's a lot different. The other one's more. And then I got 6.1 East European, which is Russia, Ukraine. There you go. Poland and neighboring countries. So that was pretty much all. I only got like 4 things. English, North and West European, East European, and Jewish. I'm happy to be Jewish. I wanted to be Jewish probably my whole life, if you want the truth. I mean, the Star of David rocks, man. My name's David. I mean, why not? But I just wonder what is it. So if you're part African, yours was like high though. Yours was like 9%.
9% and 1% Nigerian. So
10%.
Well, after with the points, it come up to about 11%.
So honestly, I'm wearing a Black Lives Matter shirt tonight. I'm apparently not African, but could you honestly, if you were interviewed for something, could you say with just no lies in your heart, determination, that you're like, I'm part African? Would you feel comfortable ever saying that?
I don't know if I'd feel comfortable.
Like if a Black
but
Lives Matter protest, you're walking and people are like, what are you doing here, bro? You're white. Would you look at them and go, actually, I'm 10% African? Would you feel comfortable saying that?
It'd be hard for me.
No, I don't know.
Say it without smirking.
I don't know, man. That situation. So, but it would be safe to say that, right? I mean, 10% is a lot.
I wouldn't be lying.
I mean, 1%. Look, I'm going to argue with anybody. 1% Jewish. I mean, yeah, like you said, that's probably. I mean, technically, then me and John are related. I mean, right? No. If all of us are 1% Jewish, of this, Ashkenazi Jew or whatever, so we're all related. So we're all. So
I mean, technically,
I'm getting these things. It's like, this is your third cousin once removed. I'm like, what does that even mean? Aren't we all technically cousins at the end of the day, at the end of the lineage? Aren't we all just cousins? I'm my 44th cousin because so cousins just share grandparents. Is I looked it up. I was like, I'm confused. I don't know what a cousin even is. I thought I knew what a cousin was. I have no idea now. Cousins literally blood share grandparents, and that's how it goes back. So third cousin would be great. Yeah, I think 2 greats or third great is what you would share. So initially, however you believe life was formed through God or
Creationism
whatever
or
the heck
evolution,
you believe in, we're all related
still everything has to come from
to some degree. Maybe, I don't know.
an
Anyway.
original source.
So there you go. Nothing really too surprising. The Jewish thing was kind of cool, but the rest of it I kind of knew from the other one. But I found some new relatives apparently. But I'm not reaching out to them. I don't really care about.
You don't
that
like the
stuff.
ones that are close to you, much less.
No, exactly. There you go.
What's
So,
the closest one that you saw on there?
on there? I didn't
What
have a lot.
percentage.
Relative? Oh, I have one that's like a first cousin, is what it said. Her name is Amy Brewington. So she's related on my dad's side. I mean, it was close family was the hit on it. I mean, so
What percentage on the DNA?
9.2%
Oh, that's
says we're
Pretty big.
she's my great aunt or my first cousin. So somewhere in there. So pretty close, you know. So there we go. Amy, if you're listening, there you go.
Mine was pretty. I think it was like. I think 2% was my biggest one.
So we talked about this last time. You said you were going to contact people. Have you reached out to any more people since? What have you been doing since we last recorded? You went to where? You went somewhere.
I went to Georgia
Georgia.
the week that you went to the Renaissance Fair.
Okay.
I was in Chattanooga, Georgia. Just that little area.
With family.
Yeah, I went with
Okay.
my wife's family.
Did you do anything fun?
I mean, they rented a Airbnb, and
Okay.
it was almost like it's like camping, but in a house because
Okay.
of the property that was on it.
Glamping.
Yeah,
Lamping. Kids, so everybody liked it. You had a good time. That's
yeah.
good. I'm actually going, I'll be on vacation, staycation next week because our babysitter is out of town. So I think we're just going to do stuff locally and whatever. But I mean, it's fine, man. Like, just, everyone thinks we vacation. I always said this about vacations. They're good, but sometimes like coming back from them is true torture. I mean, you don't sleep that good most of the time because you're staying in a hotel, right? If you have
Yeah.
family like 4, I mean, that presents some problems. And then you got to come back the last day. If you drive, you're really in some trouble, you know, because you're driving like several hours. Then you get back to work. I don't know. Sometimes the local or like a little couple hours away is not a bad thing. you
Yeah.
know. But don't get me wrong. I mean, there's nothing wrong with going overseas and checking everything out as well. So, okay, well, let's.
Just don't try that with your kids.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. That's unfortunately, but yeah. We did talk about Ric Flair's last match. We do have our tickets. We will be in attendance. So if any wrestling podcasts listen, we will gladly interview anyone you want. I used to do a wrestling podcast. I've talked to a lot of wrestlers. So if Ric Flair wants to come on the podcast, I'm just putting it out there. I'm just putting it out there, Flair. I'm putting it in the universe. Okay, let's talk about The Boys. We got The Boys season 3. Now, let's set up what The Boys is about. How would you describe The Boys? What is the setup for The Boys?
It is obviously they're superheroes. It's based on a comic book. They try to take it from a realistic point of view, and if you think about it, if there were superheroes that were in the world, they would be celebrities.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the
And-
biggest celebrities.
Yeah, and so that's kind of what it is, and the downside is some of these superheroes aren't that heroic.
No, I mean, most are. They're playing a publicity game. Imagine if the Kardashians had superpowers. Is probably the best way to put it, right?
Yeah.
And anyone around the clan of the Kardashians, there's
Oh,
some
no.
bad people, right?
If Kanye had
I mean-
powers,
I mean, Kanye would be on the 7 for sure. If there was a Kanye West in this universe, he would be in the 7. So the 7 is a knockoff of the Justice League, and Homelander, the main bad guy, is a knockoff of What if Superman was bad? We've seen this before in other movies. You had Brightburn did it. It's been done in Injustice, the video game, and the answer is always like terrible. I mean, it would be very bad if he had superpowers. So season 1 was fun. I mean, I love this series. It's one of my favorite series out there. But each season, it seems they've upped the ante a little bit. Now, I read the graphic novel. The graphic novel is insane in itself. I mean, the graphic novel starts off with like a superhero orgy. So I'm like, okay, well, we're all in on this one. The comic's a little bit different than the series. There's obviously things that kind of blend together, but it's really its own thing at this point. So season 3. Okay, I don't even know. People have not watched it. But like you said, Homelander, he's bad. Then there's these regular guys.
The thing is the public, by and large,
doesn't know.
Believe he's just the savior of all mankind.
Right. Yes, that's true. They're bad behind closed doors. In public, they're loved. Like, everyone thinks they're the greatest thing ever. They even have a PR team that tells them what to say. They're working on percentage points.
They make movies that are basically propaganda to make them look even better.
Yes. And so they're told what to say. When they go out there, they work on, here's your approval rating. It's 93%. Hers is 70. You need to do this, fake this relationship. So it's very grounded in reality in that sense. But so season 3, I've been reading, was going to up the ante because some of the deaths in this show are insane. It's NC-17 at best. Some of these deaths are. Season 3 starts off, and we can't talk about it in detail, but season 3 has one of the, I don't even know how to describe this death like with words. It is it's the sickest.
It's really off the wall. It's just, you're like, you said, what? Yeah.
If you imagine you just were tripping on LSD and acid, like, or you're super high on smoking weed. I don't know how anyone gets to the point of thinking of this death. I just don't know. I mean, you would have to be like insanely like delirious just thinking of, maybe the writers were like, what is the worst death possible? And someone said, what if this happened? And I guess that's what they did. All I'm going to say, it involves a character that can shrink, a lot of drugs, and a sneeze, and things jump off from there. That's all I'm going to say.
And your first thought, it's worse than that.
Yeah, it's worse than, yes.
Your first thought, you're wrong.
But
it's worse than that.
That being said, do you love this series as much as I do?
It's a great series. The thing is having 2 kids. My kids won't let me read a book.
Okay.
Now, if I have an electronic device in my hands, it's that much worse.
Right.
So being able to watch the show is an undertaking as it is.
I would imagine.
Aside from that, I love the show.
Okay, good. Yeah. I would just tell people, number one, you got to be ready for like gratuitous violence, nudity, sexual situations, vulgarity. I mean, this is a show where some guy tweeted out, I don't even know if I should be watching this show. And I have that feeling. I'm like, no one better walk in right now. I've got the remote being like, bro, if my wife walks in with me watching this, like, I don't even know. I'm not even gonna be able to explain this. Like I might be put on a list. Like, all of us watching this after watching that death, we're like, should I call the local authorities and report myself? I don't know. I mean, it's crazy, but it is so good. The writing is really good. And the thing I like is it really makes you wonder, it really makes you ponder that reality that they've created. Like, you have a God, essentially, who his only weakness is that he wants to be loved by the masses.
It's like if Michael Scott had superpowers.
Yes.
But he was also a jerk.
Yes. And it's really, that's the only thing kind of keeping him checked in reality, is that he wants to. And so this season's examining, what if he kind of goes away from that? And it's kind of a frightening image. So I don't know, man. I would highly suggest, it's on Amazon. You can watch the first 3 seasons. The new one's dropping tonight, or as you're listening to this tomorrow, it's already out. But you can go back and watch all the seasons, or use an animated series that kind of catches you up on some of the situations. But yeah, it's great. But let's juxtapose that against Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan Kenobi is the new series on Star Wars, Disney Plus Star Wars series. Now, have you watched all the other ones? Have you watched Mandalorian, Boba Fett, or no?
I watched the first season of Mandalorian. That's all. That's as far as I got on that.
Wow.
I haven't seen any of Book of Boba Fett. I did watch the first 3 episodes of Obi-Wan.
Okay. Here's what I say. I was one of those. I did not watch The Mandalorian for a long time once it came out. I went, I don't know, man. Like, And then once I watched Mandalorian, I said, oh, this is okay. Yeah, no, these are great. I liked Boba Fett. I thought at the time, I said, Boba Fett speaks to our age group. I think Obi-Wan speaks more to our age group than Boba Fett did. I feel this show is tailor-made for people that watched the originals at our age. I'm loving this series.
I am too.
I have
and
questions.
The thing is, there's a lot of people that are like lambasting it.
Why? I mean, why?
And that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's not that bad. But I'm thinking these people are people who are used to Marvel movies. And where it's just like, go, 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 go. And no, this is a thinking man's journey.
I mean, the first episode was very slow. I mean, I was like, whoa, this is slow. But I like the idea that it's Obi-Wan after he watches the entire Jedi people just basically are destroyed, and there's like just small groups of them on the run constantly. And he's kind of regressed. He's kind of like old man Logan, but he doesn't really use his powers anymore, so he doesn't really have them, and it's him coming to grasp with it. And when Darth Vader shows up, and that's not a spoiler. I mean, I think it's very obvious that Darth Vader's in the series. I'm there for that. I want more. I want to see more of Darth Vader. I've said this before. When he was shown in Rogue One, I said, I want a whole series about that guy. I just want to see that guy. Because when we were introduced to Darth Vader, let's just keep it real. New Hope, Empire, Return of the Jedi, he was not that intimidating. He was up and doing. I was like, I might be able to take this guy. I mean, I know he could choke people and stuff, but
the thought was, if you could surprise him, you could win.
Yes. Not in these series, brother. In Rogue One, you're not beating this guy.
Yeah.
In this series, you're not beating this guy, dude. There's a scene. Okay, I'm going to set it up, kind of not to spoil it, but obviously I'm just going to say they have some type of interaction. I'm not going to say what the interaction is, Obi-Wan and Darth Vader. Because I started going, wait a minute now. I was like, would they have interacted after Sith, or what's the last one called, Revenge of the Sith or whatever? Revenge of the Sith, The New Hope. I was like, did they interact? I'm like, well, I guess they could have, because in A New Hope, Obi-Wan definitely knew Darth Vader was Anakin. So that would mean somehow they must have met. Okay, well, maybe that's what some people are like, what, they met?
Well, also,
now,
at least in the beginning of this movie, at the beginning of Obi-Wan,
yeah,
he's under the impression that Anakin's dead.
Dead, right? Yes, which is cool. Of course he would be, right? Why would he not? I mean, he wouldn't know. Like, even though I think
the state that he left,
right? He was like, this dude's dead, right?
Yeah.
So they interact anyway. So obviously, I mean, Darth Vader obviously knows Obi-Wan's still alive. He's looking for him. And the scene where he's going through a village and he's just going, you know what? If you're not going to come out, dude, I think I'm just going to start killing people. I was like, this is badass, dude. This is what Darth Vader would do, because people are nothing to him. People mean nothing anymore. And, our biggest knock on Revenge of the Sith and all that was Anakin's turn to Vader was pretty terrible. I mean, I've said this before.
Yeah.
You can't justify it.
It was too abrupt.
And here's the other thing people have the problem with. Jake Lloyd is Anakin Skywalker. I'm going to say this. Leia is in this series as a kid. I'm sure Luke will be in it. They've seen him from afar. I'm sure he will see more of him. I don't know. It's only shown him from afar, but I'm sure I think Leia's great, but the scene where the bad guys were chasing her was very terrible. These
are the lamest bad guys ever.
These grown men cannot chase down
a 9-year-old girl.
I was like, this is sad. And people were joking. I did see people joking on that. They're like, what is going on here? I don't know, man. You put kids in these situations, it's
granted,
tough.
This is her like backyard playground.
Dude, the people right behind her, John, they could have just grabbed her.
I know.
Reshoot the scene.
Yeah. They shouldn't have had it to where they got that close to her and couldn't get her.
This is a multi-million-dollar production. No one's looking at that going, man, that looks dumb, dude. Like, they need to hire just people like me. I'll just go, oh, no, reshoot that, bro. No. Just make them further away.
You don't even have to reshoot. Have somebody there.
Yeah.
and just be like, no, he's too close to her. He could just grab her.
Just have them further back.
Yeah.
That seems pretty bad. But I do like the girl playing Leia. I think it's kind of cute. And
yeah. And I mean, she's fitting.
yeah, she's great.
Yeah.
I mean, the casting is great. I think Ewan McGregor is fantastic, man. I mean, I've loved him for years, but they couldn't have found someone better to play Obi-Wan Kenobi. And I thought that at the time watching the originals, I was like, this dude is great, you know.
Yeah.
And so I'm liking it. What do you think? What are your thoughts? I mean,
I'd really enjoy it. And the people knocking it, I'm just like, where are you guys coming from?
I mean,
But that's I think that's what it is.
get
I think
it.
it's too slow for them.
Marvel's made some great freaking shows. I get it, but guys, it's not all the same. You know, you don't compare going to Old Charlie's to going to Morton's Steakhouse. It's two different experiences, man. Like, just enjoy each one for what it's worth. Now, there's a new Marvel series called Miss Marvel. Any chance you're watching that?
I watched the first episode.
Okay, so tell me, should I watch it or is it terrible? Because
I mean, it's it does. I mean, she doesn't get the powers till the very end of the first episode.
so it's a slow opener.
And
Is it a teeny bopper show, John?
it is kind of a teeny
Okay,
bopper
that's
show.
the problem I have because the promos.
It seems
treated it that
like
way.
here lately, and it's almost everything, with the exception of Spider-Man. Everything after the Thanos snap has been almost catered to hand feed culture.
All right. Such as what? What is that? Because I've seen these reports that Christians are upset about this show because she's a Muslim, right? She is.
Yeah, she is.
Okay.
But I mean, I don't know why someone should be upset about that.
I don't know, but anyways, but you're saying they're force feeding. What does that mean?
Well, I mean, there hasn't been a male superhero that has come out since then,
New? Have you seen Eternals? There was like 5 of them.
and that was garbage.
Well, no, you can't say none of it came out. I
But-
mean,
yeah, but how
Falcon. Are you talking about new?
many new?
Well, I mean, how many new superheroes have we
I mean,
seen?
I'm
We got
saying-
Hawkeye's. We got what's her name?
Hawkeye, female.
Okay, and then we got Miss Marvel. That's it. She-Hulk's coming out, I guess. Yes, I guess there's 3. I mean, the Eternals though was. I mean, I guess.
And even in the What If, they're pushing Agent Carter as being Captain Britain, or I guess whatever they're calling her.
Yeah, I don't know what her name
And
is.
so she was kind of the breakout
No,
of
but
that.
Sharon Carter existed. I mean, it wasn't like she was a
Peggy Carter.
Peggy Carter. I mean, it's not like she was new, but okay. So they're catering it. Do you think they're catering it toward young females then?
I think so. And so
I mean, it's a bold strategy. I mean,
and it just
and then I guess Thor: Love and Thunder. I guess the new Thor is a female. So I've never really thought about that. I guess there might be something to
so,
that.
I mean, I'm not against it, but I mean, I don't know. You could make it a little bit not so. It almost seems obvious once it's laid out in front of you,
I guess so.
and it's just like, okay, you can pepper in some.
So what are some more? Do you know what
I mean,
Marvel
Moon
movies are
Knight.
coming?
That's the only new.
Oh, Shang-Chi though, he's new. He's a guy.
Yeah.
He's brand new. There's not many new white dudes being introduced. And you know what, man? All the Avengers were white, so maybe it's time. Maybe it's time to say good riddance to the white man for a while. And I mean, there's always going to be some white. There's still Thor still around, and Hulk's going to be part of She-Hulk. I mean, they're around. I don't know. It is an interesting experiment to see kind of. I guess even the new girl in Doctor Strange was Hispanic and gay. Which I never really thought about that. I guess the times there are changing. I would think from a marketing point, I understand that you want as many people as possible, but you do got to know at the end of the day, the majority of the people coming to see these movies are white male nerds.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just say maybe they'll be down with the female stuff. I hope they are, because I get it, man. Years ago, if my daughter was growing, if she was, just say she was growing up in the era of, the male-driven movies, Iron Man, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, you pretty much had Black Widow.
No powers.
That was it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the first movie, that was it. And then the second movie, you had Scarlet Witch, who was a bad guy. Wow, I guess there really were no females, were there?
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. well, the pendulum has shifted. I will watch Miss Marvel. I'm just not, and I'm not. I don't care that she's a female Muslim. I don't like watching teeny bopper shows such as Flash on CW. I watched it for a while and I said, "This is for teeny."
The first 3 seasons I really enjoyed of The Flash. After that, I was just,
It's teeny bopper crap. I don't want to watch teeny bopper crap.
Dawson's Creek was on,
and
it was over.
I don't want to watch Dawson's Creek in the Marvel movies. I just don't want to see it. But some people do. And it's never. John, okay, from the chat from Firestorm. Okay, Uncle John, what new character would you put out there? He's asked, since you have these great ideas, which character would you put? I think the door's open for Miles Morales, right? Number one.
I mean, you can. I think that.
But let's hear what John's answer is going to be.
I mean, I want to see New Warriors, Cannonball.
Ah, okay.
And that whole group.
Night Thrasher.
Yeah.
Justice, Firestar.
So you got a mix of people.
Yeah, it wouldn't be bad. No, there you go. He got you. New Warriors, which probably will happen. I've thought for a long time, and I don't know who to pitch this to, and I'm nobody. There was a comic book, and I think this all the time, and I think, man, if I just knew one writer and I could just pitch this to him. There was a comic book in the late 90s, maybe, early 90s, maybe in late 80s. Strike Force Mortuarii, or Mortuarii, whatever. I don't know how it's a Latin phrase. So the concept of this comic book, I wish I could say the word because it would really make sense. But
Mort something that says death.
Mortuarii, yeah. Those who are about to die salute you or something like that.
Okay.
So this group, and so this, I'm gonna pitch this real quick. So in the future, aliens come down, they start invading Earth, and they're kicking our butts. So they find they can inject people with superpowers, but it doesn't last very long, and it kills you once the superpowers run out, and you don't know what power you're going to get or anything like that. And so these people get the powers, they start learning to control their powers, and then they die. That was the kind of the concept of it until they started, later issues. They got the formula. I went, this would be a kick-ass TV show because
you could do a movie for that.
Like The Walking Dead,
show, yeah.
like The Walking Dead, right? The great thing about The Walking Dead was you never knew, minus like one or two main characters, anybody could die on that show at any point. You could have people just dying on the show, getting to learn them, and then you move on to the next batch, which was the whole point. They would get new batches of superheroes, and some would be jerks, some would be great, some would get along, and all like that. I'm like, dude, this show writes itself. It's already been written. So anyway, I just thought that.
I mean, it seems like you could do an anthology series with the Wild Cards.
Yeah.
George R. Martin.
Oh, yeah, that's true, too.
From Game of Thrones fame.
Hey, man, if anybody's listening, we got ideas, man. We can make the next big show. But yes, I'm loving The Boys. I'm loving Obi-Wan. It's a great time. You hit those lulls where Better Call Saul's on a break right now. This Is Us ended. I'm like, man, all my shows are leaving, but now I've got these shows. And I don't know. Hey, it's a bad feeling when you don't have any shows to watch. But okay, well, that's it. Other than that, in the news right now, I don't know, man. It's just nothing really good nothing good to talk about. There's just more shootings like every freaking day. I don't even understand what the hell's going on at this point. I don't understand it. You see the school shooting, 21 dead, 19 kids dead. Next day, another shooting. Next day, there's been like 20 something shootings since that shooting. I mean, it's crazy.
Yesterday,
Chattanooga,
there was
where you at had one.
Yesterday, there's a famous LDS Mormon site.
Okay.
In Palmyra, New York.
Okay.
And 21 shots.
Really?
And I mean, they're not. I'm not sure what.
Somebody shot at the building 21 times.
One shot hit the building.
Oh, but somebody shot at the building 21 times, or shot in the area 20. Yeah. Wow. And no one knows what the heck's going on with that.
They had one arrest, but they don't think that was the guy. They think it was somebody else.
I mean, I just don't. What the hell's going on here, man?
And so yeah. My thing is if I was somebody that had these AR-15s and all these guns, I would be laying super low right now.
Well, you would think, but these people are just.
But the fact
they're
that
the opposite. I mean, they're getting emboldened.
Common sense is just like.
I would ask anyone, and I wouldn't want a realistic answer. I know this pisses people off, and we'll jump off. I can get to Mount Rushmore in just a second. But what do you really need an AR-15 for? Or an AR-15 style assault weapon? Because they like to go, it's not AR-15, bro. All right. AR-15, a gun that will shoot a lot of bullets in a small amount of time. I'm sick of people saying to defend ourselves from the government. Bro, come on now. You think if the government, number one, why would they want you dead? But number two, let's just say they do. Let's just say we're under some tyranny fascist thing. They own the military. They own drones, brother. It's not going to be a war fought on the ground. They will send drones to
you
strike
will be
you.
dead before you can
Yes.
get to your gun.
And half these guys, these tough guys, they
You're
will
going to be
surrender.
on your way to work.
Yes. There you go. Yes.
And all of a sudden, you're going to be dead.
Yeah. So I don't understand that. Look, I've said it before. Defend your house.
And there's another thing. You can't have it both ways. You can't have these conspiracy theories and then believing these theories, and then also believe that you are the one
Yeah, you're the one.
that can get to your gun and hold off all these issues. You're going to be eating your dinner that your wife prepared.
Yep.
If
Boom.
your conspiracy theories are true,
Right.
that the government put the ingredients in your wife's cart when she wasn't looking.
That's true, right.
All right.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that.
That's how far your mind
right.
is
Why wouldn't they
going.
just poison the water? I've never even thought about that. They wouldn't need drones. They control your food, you dummies.
Yeah.
They could literally just, if they want to kill us all, they could just cut the food supply off if that's what they want to do. They wouldn't need to bomb you, brother. They would just bomb the grocery stores and the truck. Anyway, look, if you need a gun for your house to protect your family, I'm not saying, number one, I've never said take anyone's guns away, okay? I mean, if you're crazy, I'd say take it away, but I'm saying we need stricter gun laws, we need better background checks, and we need this. They're acting like this has never happened. Clinton in 94 put a ban on assault weapons. It lapsed in 2004 because the Republicans were like, we're getting paid by the NRA. And so you can't act like historically it's not been done. After that happened in 94, gun assaults dropped like 300% or something. It was something crazy, dude. I mean,
How many people do you know can legally drive a bulldozer down the street?
Not a lot. I don't know any. Yeah,
That's how I feel about these
I
guns.
know.
Do you want a 22 to keep under your bed pillow? That's fine.
Right.
You can drive your car, but guess what? You still have to get a license to drive your car.
That's true.
Now you cannot take that same license and go to the
Or drive a
Peterbilt store.
Or drive a truck. Yeah, it's okay. You're right. Yeah, it's a different class. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't get that. You cannot go get a bulldozer or a Caterpillar or whatever,
Right.
and be able to operate it.
Yeah, even a semi or a motorcycle or lots of things require. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, they got to do something, man. I don't know. Parents are gonna be worried about their kids forever, and hearing this 11-year-old just describe what happened, it's just brutal.
I've never really thought about homeschooling my kids.
What? Okay, are you thinking about it? Because
And I'm
John, I think this is part of the Republicans' plans. They want to end public schools, and I think this is part of that narrative. I think the gun NRA stuff, and I think
they're brilliant then.
well, I've always said they're smart. I've said just because you don't like someone, don't act like they're stupid, right? I mean, they've constantly won, so you have to treat your enemy with respect to beat them. That's the problem I think with a lot of liberals is they think these people are crazy. Just because you're crazy doesn't mean you're not cunning or smart.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, the biggest thing about politics now is the Republican Party is not the same Republican Party of Reagan.
Not at all. I mean, Reagan was the one who wanted to ban assault rifles as well.
And so,
He did.
As much as he did things wrong for the economy, I think he did a lot of good things. And that's the kind of Republican I am. I will prescribe to that. But,
yeah, I don't know. I'm sure Reagan meant well, but he was a racist. And anyway, all right, let's move on past that.
well, that wasn't screaming in his policies, though.
No. I mean, he just, I don't know, bro.
That's something
that's another podcast for another day.
It could be proven and it could be disproven.
It could be proven that he was definitely racist. But anyway, we're going to move on past that. We're going to go on to the Mount Rushmore. We're going to go back to Happy Town. The Mount Rushmore of movies set in the Middle Ages or medieval movies. So, John, not a lot. And the criteria is pretty easy. Was it a movie? Well, you did ask me before we get here. I'm not saying historically it had to be set in the Middle Ages or the medieval. I'm saying there has to be swords.
Medieval-like.
Yes, medieval-like. It has to have swords and weapons, and no guns, no cars, no TVs. It's obviously the world, whether it's realistic or it's fantasy, is set in a period of time where...
That's reminiscent of that.
Yes. All right. So, I don't know who went first. You can go first. It doesn't matter to me, John. I think I may have went first the last time we didn't have a guest. So, just go first.
Okay.
I love this list. I love a lot of these movies, but it's not like I'm going to die if I don't get to form my list. So, all right. Who's John up? Medieval movies. Let's go, John.
Medieval. I've, with the exception, when I asked you that question, there were 2 movies I had in mind.
Okay.
And so my first one will be one of these movies. I believe
Willow.
No.
I wish it was Willow. It's a good movie. I don't know what you're laughing about. It's not bad.
It's not a bad movie, especially from when it came out.
I think it's all right. It's just fun to say Willow.
Willow. I'm going to say Fellowship of the Ring.
Okay. So Fellowship of the Rings. Which one is that in the series?
That's the first one of the series.
That's good. I mean, that's probably the best.
A lot of people would argue the last one was, but I think there's certain things that throw it off.
Who says that?
I don't know, but
I mean, I know it won awards, but if you're saying which one's okay, let's say what's a better action medieval movie, it has to be the first one. Second one at worst. Third one, I mean, yeah, there's fights in it, bro, but a lot of it's just those 2 dudes climbing up the freaking volcano, man. And the ending, whew. If we ever did Mount Rushmore worst endings.
There is a lot of people say that whole ending scene could have been cut from the movie.
Oh, it should have. Anyway, okay.
I agree.
Okay,
with
so yes, so Fellowship of the Rings.
Fellowship of the Ring, action was on point.
Yeah, that was great.
I mean, who didn't love Legolas at the end of that movie? You had, I mean, the characters all throughout. I mean, you had, the main person, arguably, was someone who didn't want to be there.
Right. Yeah.
And had no faith in himself when it come to carrying a sword, which he shouldn't have. And I mean, who doesn't have friends like Merry and Pippin?
No, it's a great movie.
Yes, for your badass sections. I mean, you've got, Legolas I mentioned, and Aragorn. I mean, it's just a great movie. It's and for what it was when it came out, the last movie before that was supposed to be set in that kind of setting was just like way far removed.
Oh, it blew. I mean, it's revolutionary for its time.
Yeah, and so yes, all hail.
I mean, anyone that grew up loving Dungeons and Dragons or loving medieval stuff,
which is arguably Dungeons and Dragons is the great grandson of Lord of the Rings.
I mean, that was the movie that changed everything.
Yeah.
Like if I'll say Iron Man was the movie that really was like, oh, this is what superhero movies can be. Like, not, I know people say Spider-Man, Batman, but no, Iron Man was the one where you're like, that's what I want it to be. Because there's great other movies that came before this, but Lord of the Rings was like, oh no, this is. Yeah.
Oh, they can do that.
Yes, and they did. Okay, Fellowship of the Rings. That's a good choice. I definitely had it on my list. Okay, I'm gonna go with a more realistic movie. I just watched this movie today. Most of it. It's a very long movie, but it also has Orlando Bloom in it. It's a very realistic movie. Mr. Ridley Scott. He loves his medieval movies, man.
Kingdom of Heaven. Kingdom
of Heaven, man, is a fantastic movie. It's semi-realistic. It's based on real people. The Ed Norton puts on a performance that is one for the ages, playing the Leper King. Which, my God, that's a great name. I never thought about that, Leper King. Good God, I love that. Orlando Bloom plays the main guy who's thrust into fighting after his father finds him, who is Liam Neeson. A lot of big names in this movie. Liam Neeson, Orlando Bloom. You had Jeremy Irons. You got Edward Norton. It's a great movie. It's very realistic though. Like I say, it follows
the Crusades.
Crusades in it. I mean, it's fantastic. It's got the Muslims versus the Christians versus this versus that, and it just feels like you're there, man. Like I'm watching this going, I'm there, and it's very realistic. People die very realistically on the screen. You're like, oh yeah, that's crazy. And Orlando Bloom was obviously made to be in medieval movies. He's just got the look,
Yeah.
He's always. Obviously, Legolas, he's badass, is that? But he's badass in this one as well. I mean, you like this movie?
Oh yeah.
I mean, I still can't get over like Ed Norton Like, I can't believe it was him. I mean, the first time I watched it, I was like, who is that? No, that was Ed Norton? Because that was like my favorite actor in the universe at one point. And it's a great story. It is long, though. It's like 3 hours long. There's a director's cut that's like, I don't even know how long it is. It may be 4 hours long. I mean, honestly.
I mean, yeah, it has to be.
But Ridley Scott has directed other movies, and we'll see if they make the list or not. But I don't know. But yeah, Kingdom of Heaven, definitely. That's my number one. So. All right, what's your number 2, John?
This one is also a little bit of a fantasy aspect to it.
Interesting.
Probably one of the most, at least, if not the most, quoted movie ever, I would say, The Princess Bride.
Okay, I had that. I thought when you said quotable, I literally thought of another movie. Anyway.
That one's on my list, too.
Of course it is. I'm going to let you have it. But Princess Bride. Yeah, look, my wife loves that movie. Everyone I know loves that movie. It's a fun watch. It's always fun to watch. I mean, that's the thing. It's always fun to watch. It's definitely middle ages movie. And yeah, I mean, Andre the Giant's in it. What else? I mean, if that was it, if Andre Giant was just in the movie and the rest of it's crap, it'd be great. But it's got freaking, I mean, once again, look at all these people in this movie.
Carrie Elways, Robin Wright Penn, Billy Crystal,
yeah.
Christopher Guest.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great movie. If you've never seen it, you're obviously not our age. I would say people our age, 90% have seen that movie.
Before I went on my mini vacation, we do these pass-along emails, and 2 days before my vacation, in my email, I put a quote from The Princess Bride. Nobody said anything.
Really? What was the quote?
I mean, for every line. So, like, when people don't show up for their reservations,
okay,
I put, we had so many no-shows, and I put, inconceivable, which should have been.
That's the
second biggest quote in the movie.
Yes, yeah. Obviously, the first, yes.
The first is As You Wish, yeah.
Yes.
But I mean, the Brood Squad, Cliffs of Insanity. I mean, I had a reason.
So they had not seen the movie.
Nothing, and then the second day, I just made it even more. I did it again. That's how many quotes are in the movie.
Right. Yeah.
But I could do it for 2 different emails, for everything that I had. And nobody said anything, and I was thoroughly depressed with that.
Would you like a bee nut?
That was no, I didn't do that one, but I did the line before that. He's awfully short on charm.
There you go. Well, it's a great movie. Great choice, John. Great choice. Okay, I'm gonna go to another realistic movie. A lot of people, this is their favorite movie they've ever seen. I mean, freedom.
Speaking of kilts.
Speaking of kilts. Speaking of great action scenes. Speaking of just a great movie. Great. I need to rewatch this. I have not seen this in a couple of years, but Braveheart. I mean, I know it's got Mel Gibson in it. And if you ain't on the Mel Gibson train, get off, bro, because I can still, like, whatever he is, if he doesn't like our kind, the Jews. All right, me and John, we've established we're Jewish, bro. Look, Mel Gibson, we get it. You know, you made a movie called Passion of the Christ where you tortured a Jewish man for 2 hours. We get you don't like the Jews, all right? But that is kind of funny. Braveheart is just a perfect movie. It is a perfect movie of William Wallace, who basically tells a story of, struggling for freedom. And you've never seen the movie. The last scene is just, it's the thing of legends are made of.
I've actually heard that William Wallace's actual death was actually worse than that.
Wow. Can you even imagine?
Yeah.
Because he goes out in a weird way. But yeah, it's Mel Gibson. Obviously people are going to go to Lethal Weapons, one of his best movies. And I would not argue there, but it's probably his best movie. It's Braveheart. I mean, he becomes William Wallace.
Yeah.
You forget that's Mel Gibson at certain points. He is that character.
Yeah.
And it's got some great battle scenes, and man, they're painted up, and you see it before football games when they're charging down. But you want to get jazzed up, man. You want to run through a wall, watch Braveheart, and it just speaks to a sense of masculinity that people in our age bracket loved. But also speaks to, being true to yourself and fighting for your cause and things of that, and just fighting for freedom, all that. So it's great. So yeah, Braveheart, my number 2. All right, John, you're up to your number 3.
All right. Like I said, this is probably one of the next most quoted movies
no.
of all time.
For you, not for.
I mean, for anyone that enjoys these types of movies, I'd probably say it's up there.
Okay, go ahead.
Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Okay, all right, yeah.
I mean, it is very dorky lines, but
it's just a flesh wound.
Yeah.
What else? What are the other quotes? I've seen this like obviously in parts. I don't know I've ever sat down as an adult and ever watched it. I know this may make I'm gonna lose some cool points. I'm not a fan.
I mean,
Not
I
a
don't think
fan.
you're losing cool points.
Not a fan. Not a
I
fan.
mean, it takes
well,
there's a certain type of people
Yeah.
like these movies.
Okay.
And, I mean, I'm one of them, but
I just think it's dumb.
yeah, it's very dumb.
Okay.
I would agree with you.
All right.
But that's Monty Python.
Yeah.
Bring out the dead. I'm not dead yet. I fart in your general direction. Just a whole lot of nonsense. But I mean, there's a point where the movie is paused because they don't have a permit to film there. And
British
yeah.
humor, ladies and gentlemen. British humor.
Yeah.
You know who likes Monty Python? I'm saying people that love it. These are people who go, well, the British office is better than the American. No, it wasn't. People that say that can live in that fantasy world, but the American office, are we over this? It's better than the British office.
Oh yeah.
I mean, but there's people that still say it's not. Those are hipster. If you encounter someone that says they're a hipster or they're deranged.
They're British and they are biased.
Anything else to say about Monty Python and the what is it? Monty Python and the Holy Grail?
Yes.
Is that the full title?
That's the full title.
You have anything else to say?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Good. Anyway, I mean, but yes, it obviously come up on many lists. That's all. All right. There is a movie that, I mean, I will cry every time I watch this movie. Every time. Every time. I can see it 1,000 times. So if you ever like, hey, I want to see David cry, watch a movie. This is a little movie from DreamWorks. I love this movie so much. And just on paper, I would have been like, no, this movie is stupid. It sounds stupid. But How to Train Your Dragon is next level greatness. I mean, if you gave me a list of the names involved in this movie, I'd go, this movie is dumb. I mean, Jay Baruchel is the main lead, okay? And he is the best main lead of many cartoons I've ever seen in my life. How to Train Your Dragon follows these guys set in a mystical world, obviously in the Middle Ages, and they discover there's dragons. And he is kind of a wimpy. He does not fit in with the idea of what a warrior is for these people. I don't know, maybe people have already seen this movie, but he finds that he is good at training dragons. So that becomes his thing. Then he has this whole father issue that goes on. This crazy stuff happens at the end, but I could watch How to Train Your Dragon, any of those series. I love them. I think it's great. And like I said, and I don't know if we've said this, but I love middle-aged movies. Like, I love that setting. It's one of my favorite settings of all time. I either want something set in the future or I want like Middle Ages. I'm like weird like that, but this to me, it just feels so comfortable to watch. I mean, you've seen this before, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And I just think it's clever. It's cute. It tells a good story about expectations, but some of the fight scenes are really good, and some of the stuff they do with the dragons is pretty fun as well. So, So How to Train Your Dragon. That's my number 3.
The animation is beautiful in it too.
It is. It's
very. I mean, for when it came out, I
Right.
mean, there's a lot now that's equivalent to it. But
Right.
For when it came out, it was just like, wow.
That's
this
what
is,
I'm saying. When I first heard it, I went, oh, I don't want to see this stupid, with kids movies. You're like, I don't want to see this stupid kids movie. I was sitting there like on the edge of my seat, bro, like tears rolling at the end. I was like, oh my God. But anyway. All right. That's my number 3. John, close it out. What's your number 4?
my number 4.
If you don't put a certain movie on, I'm like surprised at this point.
Oh, you know what my last one is. I've talked about this
cleared
movie
it.
before.
Is that?
No.
Oh, you're not putting that on there. That's crazy. Okay, what are you putting on? I have no idea then.
Oh, no. I love that movie.
Oh, God, not Heath Ledger.
Yeah, it is
John,
Heath Ledger.
come on.
I can watch this movie over and over and over again.
It's not good, John.
And I love it. I say whenever you want to add.
Why do you
something to a
love this movie? I don't understand.
It's a sports movie, but it's in medieval times. It's great.
Flashback. We did top sports movies, and John puts A Knight's Tale. That's when we should have just ended the whole Mount Rushmore. It is the most ridiculous. Do you think jousting is a true sport? Like a true sport? See, when I say sport, I'm saying, can I turn on ESPN and will this be available? Jousting has never, ever been available on ESPN. Maybe
because they didn't have ESPN.
I mean, maybe in Shrek the movie they had a fake ESPN watching jousting. But anyways, Heath Ledger plays a guy. Go ahead. What's the story?
He is a squire for a knight. The knight dies, but I mean, him and the other guys in the squad are like starving. So he pretends to be a knight so they could put food on the table, and he ends up being really, really good, but he has to kind of fake his way through all these tournaments to where he can still make money, but he can still be in it at the same time. And
right.
So, yeah.
It's obviously Heath. I mean, anything Heath Ledger was on, people love, right? Because he was great. I mean, Heath Ledger was one of those people that transcended Hollywood. I mean, he was one of the greatest actors of his generation.
I think he would have done a lot more if he would still with us.
I mean, my God, look at his last few movies. They were like out of this world. Like you're like, who is this guy? Is he even human?
Mm-hmm.
But with that cross to bear came the struggle to even survive. You know, it's terrible. But
I mean, for you to win an Oscar for a comic book movie,
right? And he's kind of set the bar for everybody to do that now, which is crazy.
Yeah.
All right, I would have assumed.
If we weren't doing the fantasy movies too, that was definitely on my list.
Man, you've got me messed up now for number 4 because oh my God, I don't even know what to pick because
I'd be really happy
the
if you did
choice.
take it,
the obvious choice is not a great movie. It's not a great movie.
It's not.
I'm gonna put it. I don't care. I can't believe you didn't grab this. Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves with Kevin Costner is my number 4. I cannot believe this. I thought John would have grabbed this at 2.
I'm glad you picked it.
Dude, come on. Look, is this movie corny? Yes. Is it ridiculous? Yes. Is it Kevin Costner? I don't even know what the man was.
He can't even, I mean, he has, 4 accents
I
in the
don't know.
movie?
What was he doing? Like, bro, this is set in Europe. Do you understand that, sir? The story of Robin Hood. And Ridley Scott, didn't he do Robin Hood with the Gladiator guy? Yeah, him. Common Crow. No, it's not Crow. It's Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe, yeah.
I think is that Ridley Scott? I don't know. Anyways, Robin Hood has been very fascinating to people throughout the years. It's a great story.
There's so many different versions.
Right. I mean, there's
from
Disney.
Errol Flynn way back in the day, Sean Connery and Robin Hood and Marion.
Right.
You've got
Disney, the Fox.
You got the one with the Disney's Fox one. You've got one with Uma Thurman and some other guy. I don't remember his name is. It's just called Robin Hood. It was produced by Fox, so it might be called Fox's Robin Hood.
But what is the most fun? Prince of Thieves,
Prince
where
of
you
Thieves
have
is the most entertaining.
Yes, Kevin Costner, Morgan Freeman, Christian Slater, Alan Rickman in one of his greatest roles of all time. Use a spoon. What would I use a spoon?
Comes in a hot mall.
John talks about most quotable movies. John quotes this movie. Used to quote this movie like nonstop.
I did.
So it's fun. It's it's a good movie for kids to watch because it's
the only other person that could have one up Kevin Costner on this role is if Nicolas Cage was playing Robin Hood.
I would pay everything to see that movie. If I could go back in time and cast Nicolas Cage as Robin Hood, that's the best movie that's ever existed. Like that's every movie that makes them Mount Rushmore every list of any movies, whatever.
Sports movies, check.
Yes, every
musicals, check.
But it's great. I mean, I once again, I love the movie. I think it's fantastic. It's fun to watch. It's fun. It's just a fun movie. Yeah. And so yeah. All right, so let's recap the list. John had Fellowship of the Rings, Princess Bride, Monty Python, and A Knight's Tale. I had Kingdom of Heaven, Braveheart, How to Train Your Dragon, and Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. John, what were you sad didn't make your list?
I mean, you briefly mentioned Shrek.
Yeah, that's a cute one.
Let's see.
Highlander? Can I get you a little Highlander? Come on, dude. I mean, Highlander was going to be my 4th one.
Oh, is that going to be your 4th one?
I mean, look, I know it's set present day, but a lot of
I almost with my introduction, I almost did a Johnny McLeod of the Clan McLeod.
Oh my God.
I didn't.
Highlander's good. You just say what you want. It's a great.
It is a great.
The medieval
movie.
scenes are great.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay.
Excalibur was also on my list. Just to throw in, Sword of the Stone.
Okay.
Just to have a Disney feel. Also, Brave from Disney.
Yeah, there's a bunch of cute. Have you seen Okay, Willow. I mentioned it is.
Willow.
Willow's a good movie.
Lady Hawk.
That's a terrible movie. I mean,
I
I remember watching it
enjoyed
and going, "This is bad." Have you seen The Last Duel? It's a new movie with Matt
have
Damon.
not.
Dude, it's really good. That's what I'm saying. That's Ridley Scott. The man can craft a great Middle Ages movie. And I just saw The Northman. It's got Alan Skarsgård in it. I'm blown. It's too new to put on the list, but if I did a list like in a year, that movie is out of this world crazy. Like, it is very violent, very graphic.
What is it on?
Right now, I think it's still in theaters, but it should be streaming soon. Maybe streaming now. I'm not sure, but look for it. It's about a Viking who his father gets killed when he's little, and he grows up, and it's a story of revenge, and it's wow. It's violent, but it's great. So there you go. All right. Well, there was our Mount Rushmore. I hope you guys enjoyed that. And we have come to the end of another show. That's right. So if you want to find out more about us, go to our website, bybpod.com. That's where you can find all of our past episodes. You can find our social media links. You can buy merchandise. I mean, we have the Amazon link. I got an email that I have to do something to keep it active, so I don't know how long that's going to be there. But, John, what is it while it is active?
What you do is you go to bybpod.com, go down to the Amazon affiliate link when you need to buy something. Go to our site first, click on that Amazon affiliate link. Anything you buy, we get, I believe, 4%.
Yes.
Is that right? 4% of what you spend.
And it goes up if people buy more. So.
Yeah, and it doesn't cost you anything more. And so you just be helping us out, and
that's great.
Yeah,
we appreciate it all. But yeah, I mean, tell your friends about the show. Subscribe on YouTube if you haven't done that. Give us a thumbs up if you're in the chat right now. Appreciate all you guys hanging out with us tonight. It's always fun to see people in there. Go rate us and review us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play, however you find the show. And with all of that being said, John, is there anything else?
Don't blame yourself when you can blame your dragon.
He cleared it.